Howdy howdy guys, I'm back fooling with the Ford Galaxie again. We're going to try to make it run a little bit better today. I didn't get a whole lot of footage last week, so I had somebody over here helping me with it, and I was more focused on getting it done and learning what was going on than I was on getting footage. But we did get it running down the road pretty good again. I actually got it up to 60 miles an hour, shifted through the gears like it should. 60 miles an hour for the first time. That was pretty exciting. So today Today we're going to change the spark plugs. We've already done the oil, done the transmission fluid. We've cleaned up some lines that were giving up fluid. So we're going to do the spark plugs just because it looks like we've got some rust around some of them. And one of the cords is different. They may have it out of the proper firing order, or they may not have gapped their plugs correctly when they put them in. There's just a few things that I'm theorizing that are just cheap enough to fix, and I need to learn how to do anyway. I did check my plugs by default came 0.040, and it says in the manual they either need to be 0.045 if you have the electric ignition or 0.035 if you have the non-electric ignition. So I'm thinking the last person may not have even checked. It may have just slapped them in there, and that could be part of our acceleration issue. So we're going to pull those, see how they look, and slap the new ones in there with the new wires and see what happens. Alright guys, so I cross-referenced it with the manual here, the 1965-66 shop manual for Ford. Looks like they've got their firing order in correct order. However, it looks like they used the wire. We already talked about that, never mind. I'm going to change them just because I already have the parts. I did pull one of the spark plugs and see that it was gapped incorrectly. Not by a lot, but enough to matter, I hope. If not, then we're just doing these for the fun of it. It's healthy, but I'm gonna go get my gauge. Yeah, these are gapped closer to 038, 039. Which might make a difference, but I assume if they're measuring in 0.000s, it does. Okay, so I'm going to be a little sloppy about this because I forgot to get some grease for the plugs, and I don't want them to stick next time I do these, or the next owner has to do these. It might not even have it next time it needs spark plugs. Still, we want to make sure they can come out the way that they should. But I forgot to get the grease, so I'm just going to steal the grease from the last ones. It's okay. Okay, so this one's dead on the money for 035, 034. So we know they're gapped differently. That counts for something, I'm pretty sure. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Ooh, yeah. I like it simple and smooth. Rarely ever does it go down that way, but I love it when it does. let's bring in here and show you what I did real quick. I ripped out my power wire while I was pushing this. It's a bit loose, and it pulled enough to rip it out. But, you know, we'll just slap that together real quick. It's no big deal. I just had to do it right after I got all my plugs and wires done. Alright, so just want to summarize what we've done here today. We've put some fresh Sparky Boys and wires in there for no other reason than one of the wires looked different. This actually looked like the one they were running to the ignition was supposed to be one of the wires, plug wires. Don't know if that makes a difference, but it looked weird to me. When we pulled them, we found that the gap was out of spec. They're supposed to be .035 for this particular vehicle, where it's a non-electric ignition. But they were all set to 039, 040, 041-ish area. So I went ahead and replaced them just because they're cheap enough and it doesn't hurt. So we gave it some fresh plugs and wires. Also tightened up the tensioner on the alternator because that is pretty loose. My belt's going everywhere. And that drives everything. The power steering pump, all the pumps pretty much are come down to that one thing. So hoping that makes a difference. It's eating a good amount of coolant. Like I put probably close to half a gallon in it, and I had just refilled it from the last 2 times that I took it out. So we're gonna fire it up here in a minute, do the same thing with it, see if we're cooking the same amount of coolant. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna take it out again. We're gonna get it up to 60 again. Just see if we're cooking any coolant. I forgot to tell you, I did get a new flasher in here, so I've got turn signals now. That's a plus. No seatbelt. Have it. So we're just gonna slam it and jam it. See if we're still cooking. Hopefully, you all can make it. Hear that surging? And I don't know if that's just me not putting down enough gas. Maybe it wants more. I don't know. Because when I hammer it, no problem. But light gassing situations like this, it just sounds like it wants to miss. But you'll see once we get it back out here on the street. Got no problem once you go full throttle. Not even full throttle, I'd say like half throttle. Man, how lucky. The cam didn't even spill. Makes it really hard to cruise because you're either throttling it or it's still at 45 doing the little bit of jutting or something. I don't know, but we're about to hit the end of the 35 speed limit, and we're gonna push it 60 or so and see if we can knock some stuff loose. Maybe we'll knock it loose in a bad way. Maybe we'll knock it loose in a good way. We'll see. But this poor thing hasn't hit 60 very much over the last 6 or so years, so it's probably still maybe learning how to regulate itself. See, I don't know. Yeah, there we go, we're at 70. It's going to the top of its gear, but it's a 3-speed, and I'm used to a 6-speed, so it probably just feels weird because there's literally half the amount of gears I'm used to. Bam, downshifts like it should, okay. We're gonna cut her right here. Get out and look to see if we got any fluids coming loose. I didn't hit it like that last time I got it up to 60. I was pretty smooth on it the first time. That time, really seeing if we could break something loose. It's okay. If it is, we're right outside of town. So check it out. It looks like we got a little coolant coming out somewhere. Alright, so I went ahead and cut it off. It spit that bad boy off. It's pretty hot. So I'm just going to let it cool down for a minute and look around at it and see what else we got here. Definitely not going to open up the radiator anytime soon. Going to give that a little bit. It looks like, and this may be nothing, this might just be because I was just hammering on it, but our fuel filter's filled up quite a bit more than normal. Usually it's, I guess, sitting down right about there. That's hot as can be. Didn't really take much to get this baby cooking. My oil still looks like it's the right color. It's still getting a little darker on us, but it's probably breaking some stuff loose. That's okay. Alright. I don't see anything that looks too alarming. So I'm going to get the air conditioner going. Yeah. And get this bad boy back home. Definitely needs some adjustments. Mirrors are killing me too. I can't see anything out of them. They're like that big. What you down, man? You did this last time. Cool. That sputtering, it'll just let me hammer right through it. I don't get that. Not understand that at all. I'm gonna cruise it around town a little bit more. It's just too nice and hay to go back and park this immediately. Even though it's not doing all the right things, we'll just either go full throttle or nothing at all. God, it's a beautiful day. Ooh, that was a good way to go. So like this, it seems like it's doing okay. Small amount of gas, but then I give it that, and it's lurching up, and then we give it all the way, and it's ready to party. Oh, I need to go clear this car out. Get rid of these rattles. Now we're actually driving it on a semi-regular basis. Alright guys, so we made it home safely, rode it all around town, gave it some extra juice, tried to shake some things out. I'm really excited that the transmission feels like it's shifting like it should be. You know, it's pretty quick on the spot, no slipping or anything like that, but I'm definitely still overheating. I'm eating coolant like no other. Just from that drive earlier, in which, you know, I'd say all in all was probably actually like 20 minutes-ish. You know, we hammered down for like 2 minutes of it, 3 minutes of it, getting up to 70 miles an hour, and a lot of it was cruising around the town at like 30, 40, and I had to put, you know, a little over a half a gallon back into the radiator. So, I mean, maybe the obvious issue is that the radiator sucks, even though it's moving fluid. Maybe it's not moving enough, because it's obviously in bad shape from what we've seen. So that needs to be pretty high on the list of parts for me to order. I probably need to take a look at that tonight, maybe poke around at some other things, but that's where my head's at. But, you know, like I said, it drove out, it hit 70, it shifted through all the gears, it was on point. I'm pretty excited for that. We just got to track down this heating thing before it becomes something else. I appreciate you sticking around with me, watching me learn on this thing. If y'all have got any kind of suggestions, things for me to look at, feel free to drop them in the comments, message me, or anything like that. I really do appreciate all the help that I get from everybody.